Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Intuitive Marriage Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Pott, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm happy that you found us. I'm an intuitive marriage mentor, and I help guide couples to be more self-aware, use their intuition to create a deeper, more soulful connection with their partners. So welcome. I'm so grateful that you are here. This week, we are discussing empathy again. Last week, we discussed tips for cultivating empathy and boosting your empathy in your life and your marriage. And, if you haven't taken a listen, please go check it out. It's episode 13. And this week, we are going to talk about being an empath when you're an empath already and how to protect your energy. That is something that I work on daily. And I'm going to share and explore some insights from a wonderful author on this topic. She really helped me through a lot. I've read 3 of her books, and her name is Judy Dyer. So being an empath myself, I was struggling with being exhausted, after spending time in large crowds, or, if we have tough days at work, there's a lot of emotions going on, or with the people that I'm around. I would find myself drained of energy after attending like a concert, a family event, even with people I love, and I love their energy. It's just, I would just feel drained. So, maybe we'd have an event at our summer resort, or even if I'd have a one-on-one coaching session or a really deep conversation with a friend, if I hadn't protected myself, I would find that I could be very drained from that. So I found myself researching and absorbing as much information on this topic as I could. And that sort of led me to find Judy Dyer's books. And I have read 3 of them thus far. The first one I read is called The Highly Sensitive. The second one I read, it's called Empath, A Complete Guide for Developing Your Gift and Finding Your Sense of Self. And then a follow-up to that is called The Empowered Empath, A Simple Guide on Setting Boundaries, Controlling Your Emotions, and Making Life Easier. I'm going to see what links I can find regarding her book, maybe just an Amazon link. It won't be sponsored or anything like that. And I'll try to put that in the show notes. So understanding empathy. Let's start again, like last week, by defining empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's a powerful tool in any relationship, especially in marriage. Empathy allows us to connect deeply with our partners, and that helps to, foster intimacy and trust within each other. There are 3 types of empathy. They say there's quite a few. It depends on sort of where you're looking. But the ones I sort of, Googled and kind of came up with mostly is a physical empath. So physical empaths pick up a lot of stuff in their own bodies. They pick up other people's physical symptoms and can actually take on the illnesses of other people. I do have that to a degree. It's usually if it's like a deep emotional. I wouldn't say I necessarily would feel nauseous or necessarily a headache or something if somebody feels that. It's more of an emotional feeling that I get physically affected by. The second one is an emotional empath. So yes, I guess this is the big one for me. An emotional empath picks up on other people's feelings and emotions. So whether they're good, bad, or they're ugly, I will feel them. And then, of course, the third one, which is the big one for me, is I'm an intuitive empath. So an intuitive empath are those who experience life with extraordinary perceptions extremely perceptive. The traits, there's some sort of psychic ability, and that can range. I don't have like a really clear psychic ability, but I do have to some degree. I'm still working on that and figuring that out. But they can manifest as a sense of knowing. And that's typically how I do. I just sort of know things and I don't really understand how I know them. And then there's an openness to telepathy. And my husband and I, it's funny, we've almost gone to become like this telepathic couple. It's really funny. We finish each other's thoughts and we are thinking the same things, and we almost believe that our thoughts have triggered the other one to think that way. It's very bizarre, and I know it sounds really like woo woo, and it is, but it's real and it's happening, and it's pretty cool. And some are able to receive messages in dreams. I used to receive more messages in my dreams when I was younger. Um, and I don't know, maybe that's because I don't as much now with some of the medication I'm taking, but I don't have as many clear messages in my dreams. I have more messages that come through with my journaling, and I get visions and words and things like that come through, and then the gut feelings, right? You are aware of things through the signals that your body is giving you. Now, there is a rare empath, and this is really cool because I sort of do feel like I'm this as well. But here again, I'm always learning about my intuition and it's always growing. And the more I'm open to it, my empathy as well grows. But it's called, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, a Heyoka empath. Now it says here, while other empaths experience feelings of overwhelm and exhaustion from absorbing others' energies and emotions, a Heyoka empaths experience an additional aspect of exhaustion in that they are fighting a constant battle with their inability to be completely authentic. And I really do have a sense of that feeling. It's almost like, ooh, like I'm not sure if I will be accepted if I'm completely authentic. And that is something I've been working on, over the last few years and more intensely, over the last couple of years. But it says here there's 7 signs, but I'm just going to give you the first 3 that kind of tell you whether you may be a Heyoka empath. Really sure. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. So 1 is you feel and understand energy. That is a big one. I do. You are led by your intuition. And that's a 2nd sign. And I like to give my decisions up to intuition. I sort of just say, hey, if it's meant for me and it's going to be good and it's not toxic and I'm going to make a positive impact in those around me, depending on the situation, then please give me those feelings that draw me. Oh, goodness, hitting my mic again. Then give me those energies and those feelings and those thoughts that push me that way. So if you are led by your intuition. And 3, you believe in complete honesty. Yes, 100%, to a T, to a fault. You just got to be honest. Sometimes it's ugly, but you just got to believe in complete honesty. So for those first 3 signs, I don't have the others in front of me. I would say that, I would say that I'm a Heyoka empath. Now, Judy Dyer's teachings, she goes into this in her book, The Empath. She emphasizes the unique challenges empaths face. So empaths have an extraordinary ability to tune into others' emotions, but often struggle to distinguish these feelings from their own. Now, this can lead to emotional overload. And in the Empowered Empath, Dyer outlines strategies for empaths to protect their energy. So, one, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries are essential for maintaining emotional health. And boundaries help us, just sort of distinguish and separate our feelings from those of others. Grounding techniques is the second one. Activities like walking in nature. I love getting barefoot and walking in my yard or at the cabin. Meditation and deep breathing really helps empaths stay centered. So if I'm in a crowd and I don't have a chance to go and journal or, go and meditate, sometimes just standing in that moment, in that crowd, I just take some deep breaths and I go by a 5-5-7 breath. And that really helps me to stay centered. 3, mindfulness. So be present in the moment. It helps empaths manage overwhelming emotions. So just be aware. 4, energy shielding. You're like, what? Don't have a shield. What are you talking about? This isn't a video game. Come on, Amanda. But, visualizing a protective shield around yourself. It can definitely deflect negative energies and give you that intention. Sometimes it's just the things we think about and there are intentions on them. That's all it is. So energy shielding. Put that bubble around you. Now, practical strategies for empaths. So, oh my gosh, Amanda, stop hitting your mic. Tie my hands behind my back. I use them way too much. Okay. Let's get practical, shall we? How can you apply these teachings in your marriage to protect your energy? Well, number 1, like we talked about, we're just going to go into a little bit more detail. Set boundaries. Clearly communicate your needs to your partner. And for example, if you need alone time, I like my alone time. I never used to when I was younger, in my 20s. Even in my 30s, I felt like I was missing out on stuff. Now, I can't get enough alone time. I mean, not away from my husband. That sounds not great. But sometimes we just do. We need our time to recharge. Make sure your partner understands and respects this. This is very important. And we do. I have a bath time and I'm in there for good hour at least. And he knows and he understands that I need that transitioning time when I'm coming home from work. I use that as a cleansing. It's a cleansing bath to me. When I've been at work as a youth care worker for 24 or 48 hours, I need to come home and I need to cleanse, recharge, and we catch up. I mean, I talk about this in other episodes. We catch up. We have our little chit chat. We smoke a joint or have a bong rip. And my last name is Pot. And we just have a chit chat. We sort of catch up and have a hug and a kiss and, a little snuggle time, little transfer of energy. And then often he has run me a bubble bath already. And I put some Epsom salts in there and it's just my time. Put my galaxy lights and light candles. So it's fabulous. That's what I do. So we do set our boundaries. And what he likes to do is he has his games on his PS5 and he'll put his headphones on and he'll just absorb and get into his game, or he'll listen to music or play his game on his phone. And that's his time. He just needs to decompress from work as well. So number 2, we'll go into the grounding techniques. So 1, as I said, I put Epsom salts in my bath. That helps me to ground. I do practice grounding daily. Now, whether it's spending a few minutes each morning meditating or taking a walk in nature, maybe you want to go have you ever gone barefoot in your grass? Like, just do it. It's fantastic. It's my favorite thing to do. We have little pea gravel stuff as you walk out our door. So I do have to have sandals on. I can kind of do like a ooch, ouch, ouch, each, pretending I'm walking on hot coals like I'm in a Tony Robbins thing. And I put my mindset and scoot across, but usually put my sandals on and I get out to the grass as I'm letting Sylvie outside and I walk barefoot in our yard and it grounds me and I instantly feel like a calming. I don't know. It's weird. Just go try it. You have to try it. Crystals. I love crystals. Journal. I dig in the dirt, gardening, weeding, get your hands dirty, light candles. A clear quartz is universal healing stone. It balances your crown chakra. I have a pendant that if I'm feeling really out of balance, then I will wear that. Right now, I have a beautiful gift. My family tree, the tree of life. It's a gold pendant with little diamonds that my husband bought me for our anniversary and Valentine's Day. So it's really special. So I often wear crystals. I sleep with crystals under my pillow. And grounding just rejuvenates and restores our energy field. Grounding, depending on what you decide to do as a practice, can literally bring instant feelings of calm to you. And grounding yourself really improves your empathy and your emotional and your mental clarity. So number 3, let's go into detail with the mindfulness practices. So incorporate mindfulness into your routine. Pay attention to your own emotions and practice self-awareness. So I like to journal my feelings. I just sort of do a brain dump. I do a morning pages philosophy from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. And she typically talks about doing 3 8x10 journal pages every morning. I don't always quite get to that, but I have incorporated it into pretty much my daily routine. So I journal my feelings if I'm upset about something or a comment or confused or, angry or whatever I'm feeling. I just just a brain dump on the page. And then I feel that my creative brain seems to be a little more clear. And then I can just kind of document how I'm feeling and check in with myself. And then I get creative. So I also have alerts on my phone. I believe I have about 7. I know that might sound a little extreme to some of you, but I am ADHD later on in my life. Just was diagnosed late last year. So I need a few reminders just for me to drink water. I'm really working on being more respectful of time. And I have a very strong time blindness. This is why I'm always sort of coming in at the 11th hour. And, interesting. I just looked at the clock and it's actually 11:11. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Signs. I saw the signs. Okay. That's very cool. So yes, I have to be more mindfulness because I get very distracted very easily. And it helps me to stay in the moment. And sometimes it's just hey, it's 8 p.m. Check yourself. What are you doing? Am I at work? What do I need to do at work? If it's 8 p.m., have I drank water? Have I taken my supplements? Have I, what's happening? What are you doing right now? What are you thinking about? And that just helps me to stay mindful and be aware and live in the moment. I also have been working on, sometimes I go to the extreme. I've been told I've been a little sharp. little snappy lately. So I've, trying some different things to rectify that as well. So I apologize to people that have had my spitting swords lately. But I'm refraining from people pleasing, which is actually quite refreshing because I always felt like I needed to bow down to people and, what were they going to think of me if I didn't agree with them or, thought the same way that they thought. And no, fuck no. It's okay to have your own opinion and it's okay to express that. You don't have to be rude. Sometimes, like I said, I really try not to be rude, but sometimes I've been a little sharp and I apologize, but kind of sorry, but not sorry sometimes. Sometimes it's just okay to be stern and people just need to hear things. And if they don't, then they have the opinion and the right to express their opinions to me as well. And I'm a big girl and I can handle that. Let's have an adult conversation. And just like I said, be careful of drama queens. Just be careful of that. Don't get sucked into that. Don't get sucked into it yourself. I mean, I like a good juicy gossip story, just like anybody else, but don't be the spreader of it. Don't be the spreader of it and make more of it. So yeah, that's, I guess, for mindful practices, that's sort of what I've been doing. But journal my feelings and my alerts on my phone have been huge and just being more respectful of time. So let's get into this number 4, this energy shielding exercise. Ooh. So there is a simple exercise from Judy Dyer. And she says to close your eyes and take deep breaths. I practice the 5-5-7. So what I like to do is I like to inhale for I like to inhale for 5 seconds in through your nose. Keep your mouth closed. Hold at the top for 5 seconds. Kind of almost like push it. And then breathe out for 7 seconds. And I like to push it out through my mouth. Breathe out like that. It's hard. You empty out your lungs. And the first couple times you do it, you almost feel like you're going to freaking pass out. Like you are. You're like, I'm not going to have enough air. Do it. And then inhale really deep. And you might have to go more than 5 seconds the first couple times. I learned this when I was getting certified for my health coaching. And they bring it into the life coaching aspect of it as well. And I've been using it ever since. If my anxiety's hitting, I just take my breaths and I do it for about 2 minutes. So, do it a few times in a row. It's not going to change just instantly by doing it a couple times. And it changes your emotional, like you regulate your emotions. There's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, and it can trick it into being in the calm state. So that's what I use. A big like I usually use the breathing for my energy shielding exercise. But I also do, I do this less and I'm learning to do it more. I haven't really I find with the visualization of having a bright light surrounding you and forming a protective shield, I believe that needs to come along with some type of an affirmation or, a mantra that you create yourself and that you state it. I know there's some white light prayers and things like that protection prayers that you can say, and you can Google them. I don't have them in front of me, but I believe in, in coming up with your own, and I haven't yet. So I do just sort of do a general imagining of being protected by white light and just imagine it that it's deflecting any negative energy coming your way. If you do play any video games or, you're familiar at all with Star Wars or any of that, force fields, right? Star Trek, Star Wars, any of that. Like pretend you have a force field around you of energy. Now, let's talk about that. So reflection, and then you need to have an action plan. This doesn't just happen. Reflection is key to growth. Time each week to reflect on how these strategies are working for you. Here are some reflection questions. How did setting boundaries affect your intentions this week? So you can reach out to me on email. I'm working on a website. I've bought my domain. I don't have an actual, a real cool professional email as of yet, but please send me how things are going or DM me on Instagram. I'm really not active on there. I have to get on that. I keep saying that, and life is just busy. But please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. How did setting boundaries affect your interactions this week? What grounding techniques helped you feel more centered? Did you have a bath? Did you do a cleansing? Did you walk in the grass with bare feet? Once you start that, you will have to incorporate that. Even if you just do it under the full moon, which is huge, you can literally feel the energy. Another one is, how did mindfulness practices impact your emotional well-being? Did you find that you were able to regulate yourself more? Did you find that knowing that you were in the moment helped you regulate your emotions? How did it affect you this week? And then let me know, describe your experience with the energy shielding exercise, or just write all this down in a journal. Just do this for yourself. So describe your experience with the energy shield exercise. How does it make you feel? And be aware of it. If you are going into if you're going into a scenario, create an action plan for the next month. So for myself, when I know I'm going into an event or I'm going into a situation where there's going to be a lot of people, and I know I'm going to pick up on energies and I'm going to pick up on emotions and I'm going to feel a vibration, sometimes I need to put my loops in. I have earplugs and they keep me sane. You can open them up so that you can still hear people talking to you, but you don't hear the whole vibration of the background humming noise that I find sometimes is too much for me. So that's one thing I do. But also setting some realistic goals to maintain your empathy during the month while you're also protecting your energy. So it's kind of an interesting balance. So I still do want to use my empathy, and I want to be able to feel that, but I also need to put a balance on what I'm feeling and how much I'm allowing in. So I'm going to explain some of the things that I do. I mentally prepare and I protect myself for when I know I'm having events. So if we're having a whole lot of family over, if I know I'm going to be juggling a bunch of plates, which makes me anxious, plus having a lot of people around, I do try to give myself some breaks. I need to remove myself for a minute. Maybe I'll go for a little golf cart ride around the park with my hubby. Sometimes we need to just go off behind the house and smoke a joint, give each other a hug. He is my grounding stone. He really is. He just protects my peace. And if I'm feeling like overwhelmed, it's his energy that calms me. So just being within my husband's presence often for a few minutes is what helps me. But I'm not always around him when I have these moments. So a big thing is actually I just give myself a break. And then I journal. I do sort of gratitude journaling, prepping myself for it to be good. And then if I have had a really tough time and I've absorbed too much energy and it's been too much or negative energy, then I just do that brain dump and I journal and, cleanse in the bath. And so, yeah, you will find what works for you. I know my husband really loves his candles. He actually hasn't done his candle therapy in a while. I should do that for him. But he will literally light up 20 to 30 tea lights, and we have millions of what seems like millions of candle holders, and I love it. And we used to do a thing called candlelight karaoke because we like to sing karaoke together a lot. And that was sort of his way to kind of chill out and have some good energy. So you will figure out the things that work for you that make you feel good. I like to smudge. I like to use my incense. I like to use my spell candles. Yeah. So let me know how things go with you. And don't forget, empathy is a beautiful, beautiful gift, especially in marriage. But it's essential to protect your energy. And by setting boundaries, practicing grounding techniques, and incorporating mindfulness, and using your energy shielding. Don't forget to use that shield. You can nurture your empathic abilities without feeling overwhelmed. So thank you for joining us again this week on this journey. Please go check out Judy Dyer's books. She's phenomenal. Her reading is really inspiring to read and easy and gives you clear steps on what to use. And I will try to provide some links in the show notes if I can. And remember, you are worthy of love. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye for now.